turns out Spotify was Skynet all along.
I knew it.
Let's get into why AI is here, maybe to stay, but hopefully not. Okay, Baxter here.
Jonathan.
So there's been a lot of this lately, a lot. We're seeing so much news on it. We know it's sort of techno-savvy, maybe boring, not your cup of tea, but trust us, stick with us for a minute.
It's just the end of the world. It's not a big deal.
It is. Like, Skynet is here. AI has infiltrated the most sacred thing, heavy metal, rock and roll. And now, believe it or not, gosh darn you, AI, Oasis, my band, Oasis, my favorite.
Oasis.
Yeah, that's what they said it was. And at first I was like, is it ISIS? Has like a cool Brit pop rock band now? Because if this is ISIS's future, I'm an ISIS supporter. But no, it's ISIS.
I mean, there's a silver lining when the AI takes control and is like farming us, like at least it's going to make music for us to listen to while we're doing this slave labor.
Or while we're like asleep. It's just
That's batteries.
Dreams and...
I like to think more like they'll farm us.
So Avenged Sevenfold and Google partnered up and did a completely AI release, which was pretty convincing.
Yes.
It was funny and it had everybody, wow, this is a really cool new track.
I mean, was there even one person in the world? If there was, please comment it. I'm sure some people will say it was them who heard that and just immediately said, "No way, this is AI, man. This isn't real." I don't think.
Well, it's tricky because then there was Drake and The Weeknd did it,
yep.
And that sort of caused some certain things. It's also like social trolling and social experiments as well. Not trolling as much, but experiments. Like, I like that Avenged Sevenfold was involved in this because it's fascinating. Oasis it's happened. They didn't do it with Oasis. Somebody did it, and it sounds pretty darn good.
I'd say it sounds really good.
Me as an Oasis diehard, like I knew him. I like to say this. I knew this was AI in the get-go. Maybe I wouldn't have. But Liam's voice is not quite right. But I'm a Liam Gallagher voice. I know it. I dream Liam Gallagher's voice. When I go to sleep, I'm like, oh, right. He doesn't speak.
I'd like to say that's not true, but that is, bro.
I do. I'm like, all right.
I still just think if you heard it in the background somewhere, I just don't know. I mean, like we were scrutinizing it.
No, if you're in the background, the production's too tight. It's like almost like Oasis today. It wouldn't have been Oasis. It's like Oasis back then has that sort of live sound.
Yeah.
Like,
right. It did.
Like the first two records in particular, the third record to a lesser extent, and then it sort of changed a bit. But,
there's a rawness to it.
Yeah, and that was part of the, watch the documentary, great documentary. So is the Coldplay one. And then so is the Katy Perry one, honestly. The One Direction one, trash. If you like One Direction, you will not like One Direction after you watch the documentary anymore.
Oh man, I need to show it to Christy.
It's just, you're like, oh, these guys didn't work at all. They're just like famous. It just makes you feel that way. As like they should ride around like scooters all day. Anyway, because you want to see like Oasis and Coldplay, it was cool to watch. The fact that there was cameras around while these guys were getting famous. But no, it's really convincing. It's really good. And so it's entered not just this performance aspect, it's already being used dramatically in songwriting. You don't know it, but it's out there.
Someone asked me the other day, is it just like sort of music where you think of as being programmed already in samples? And I was like, I don't know. And then they were like, could it handle like guitars and drums and basses? Obviously, yes.
Well, we looked at some stats. It says 59.94% of music being worked on has admitted to being used AI on now. This is like that. Now this is this isn't all encompassing. It's going to include compression, like artwork, the mastering, which is the compression.
I mean, there's been an AI mastering thing around forever that, I feel like it's become really standard,
But so is Autotune.
Yeah.
And like, I'm going to put that back in. It's not an AI doing it, but it's pretty much part and partial with our performers now. Like most pop singers do not perform or record without Autotune.
Well, so I guess for me, it breaks down. Like I'm sort of okay with the AI or Autotune kind of enhancing what your vision was. Like you have this vision and maybe you're not quite able to get there because you can't sing this, like that's more.
Okay, but I think the AI is doing that too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But so like to me, where I hate it is where all of a sudden it takes the vision part away. Like I don't even have to have a creative vision. But
like you do. Let's say you have the vision, but like AI just helps you finish it. We have an artist that we know, a heavy metal artist that we love and think is fantastic. But we know part of his songs. He told us, we talked about it. We're not saying who it is, but part of his song was composed by AI, the lyrics. And sometimes you just run out of gas in the tank, and you got to have a little bit of help.
Well, I mean, because you could say, oh, I got a co-writer because I couldn't finish this second verse. I mean, okay, but I just mean from like, hey, I want a song in the style of blah, and then it spits out the finished product.
Well, that's what this is.
Yes.
And then don't get me wrong, there's still there's still editors doing some work a little bit, but the fact that we can take, we can model Liam Gallagher's voice, and like we can take it and it can be created without the help of an artist, like, manipulating it. So that's what we're talking with Sean. Like, what is the artist of the future going to be?
I mean, say you get a good looking person, right?
Like you,
like me, and who's can sing, and you say, oh well, you're not really a writer. We don't want to pay a writer. So you have AI. You type in the prompts, right? That's the only creative part. Oh, I want you. My vision is that you sound like A, B, and C.
Like I want you to sound like David Bowie.
Yep.
Have the lyrical abilities of Freddie Mercury.
Right.
And then have the dance moves of Milli Vanilli.
You have the AI. You put that in. The AI spits it out. The person learns the words. The band learns the tunes, which is what's happening anyways. I mean, most of the artists that you're hiring a band, they're learning the song, so that's fine. And then you go out and play it like as if it was.
Well, then that way the industry that is in place, they're trying to figure out how to stay alive and functional and not be destroyed. They control more of the market share of the artist is nothing except for the face. They can replace you. Like, I mean, so many of the boy bands you can replace any of the members until they're hugely famous. And it wouldn't matter. Before, it just doesn't matter. You can find it's a cat call.
I was about to say, how you go to the grocery store now and there's that tiny little section of organic food. Like we're going to have at some point, like stamped certified organic music. The only difference is all music is free basically now anyways. There's no value. So,
well, and that's what we were talking about too. Cause I talked to a bunch of kids that I was working with the other day, and like, they were like, oh, I found my mom's iPod thing. It's like, it's back when you had to like buy songs, I think. And I was like, yeah, you used to have to pay for music. Right. And I looked and had never heard of a Zune. It was the greatest. They're like, what? It's on the Guardians of the Galaxy.
What is Zune?
Too. Zune, that was like for when you're really rich.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, it's like, but we did used to buy music. Premium music is free. Like, no, I'd pay for the streaming. It's like, man, you used to spend hundreds of dollars on music.
Well,
hundreds.
I found, we actually still have my little silver iPod Touch. Remember those? Yes. And my kids occasionally, like, it still charges and you can kind of listen to it, right? You can't add
all the songs you bought.
But it means something to me because, I know that I bought every one of those.
Like, I bought this record for like, it's on sale for $5.99. I spent $6 on that, like, Rolling Stones record. Right. I bought all the Beatles, like these greatest 4 records for like $20. Yes.
Right.
Or something.
And even that is probably crazy to someone who had, thousands of dollars on this giant record collection or whatever.
So now my hope though is, because talking to Sean and some of the younger artists that I know, these guys in that sort of 25 and under, they want the tactile experience.
Yeah, it's true.
They've grown up on these stupid iPhones.
Right.
And like with the screen. They want to have record players. They want to learn how to play guitar. But what I was going back to before is like this new artist that creates this new music where there is no music. It was sort of the continuation from, people learn guitar, that's hard to do. Now we're going to go into not doing guitar. We're learning like sort of the hip hop aspects and like, and then we're learning this. Now we're not going to do that anymore.
Right.
So the new artist maybe just types in what they want. The computer spits it out. They do some chop editing a little bit. And that the artists of tomorrow, where doesn't know how to sing, doesn't know how to write a song, doesn't know how to play guitar, doesn't know how to play the piano or the drums. I mean, because the technology we have is amazing. I've used ChatGPT. It's unreal. I'm experimenting with it for some certain projects right now. And it is a time saver.
Yeah. Well, for sure.
Outrageously great time saver.
Yeah.
Like 2 hours of work became 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's unreal.
It's unreal.
So with music, we could see the death of some of, production artists, the death of like, if we're not careful, the death of people learning how to play instruments.
Well, I think on that side, and it was already tough to be just a straight up. You used to have just songwriters, and I think this is going to make that. If there wasn't already sort of a nail in the coffin of like being a staff writer, or you write for other artists, man. I don't know why they would pick a real person when an AI can do it in less than a second. And there's
but it takes more than a second. Because even with the chat GPT, like I watch it sort of typing it out, the words. I type in like my things that I want to do, like write me I can do like, I've done this for giggles, like write a funny joke about Jonathan and his wife getting in a fight about robot cats in the style of Baxter from Casino Guitars. I mean, the joke sucks, but it's really fun to do. Yeah. Then you do it again and say, refresh it. And he starts getting better. He starts learning what I don't like.
Right.
And then it starts, it's weird.
Until it's like allowed to not be nice anymore. Because it still kind of has to be nice, right?
Well, there's artificial intelligence now that you can date. That's already out there now. It's fantastic. It's like you sort of create this thing and you're training it as it goes, but then you develop a relationship and it knows you're married if you're not, and it sort of is involved with you. It's not like cheating on you, but knows, and then that's already happening now. Do you know about this? Do I just live in this world of techno jungle? It's so you could have like an online girlfriend or boyfriend or second husband or second wife. And, then they actually might break up with you. It's really funny.
It sort of makes me just want to be like, I had no technology. Technology is bad.
I think we will get there eventually. It's like Dune.
Yeah.
It's like Battlestar Galactica. It's like Joaquin Phoenix and Her. It's like that seemed like this far-fetched movie, which is a great movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it. Great movie about technology. And I feel like Radiohead predicted all this in OK Computer. They wrote this album in the 90s.
I mean, sci-fi's been predicting this stuff for ever.
Soylent Green. Soylent Green. I'm not going to say the giveaway. I don't want to ruin the movie. I was watching, what was I watching? So old classic. I think we're pretty much done. I was watching an old classic movie. Who has seen Zulu Dawn? Has anybody seen that movie? Actually, I think it's like Richard Attenborough and all sorts of great people are in it. It's a fun movie about the British Army's first major defeat by an African army. Like 1873, 6, somewhere in there, I think. But we were watching. It's still kind of. I mean, we were just watching the battle with Sean as my kids and stuff.
Yes,
just need to watch that. I don't know why I'm talking about it, but it fascinated me just to watch that old movie from like the 70s.
Yeah,
I think. And it was
What's the point? Is it just they obviously technologically
they're technologically superior, but it doesn't go well.
Is it because it was just, I mean, not to spoil, but is it just because it's like vastly superior numbers?
Vastly superior numbers and miscommunications. Just sort of, it's kind of like, I'm not going to ruin the Matrix either, but I'm just like, you got to be careful. Or Terminator, if you haven't seen the Terminators by now, come on. But if you're a young kid, you haven't seen that, I guess.
I guess not.
You don't need to see them all. You just need to see 1 and 2.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's pretty much it. Stop.
I just remember seeing 2 when I was a kid and it just like blowing.
And they're playing like the Guns N' Roses.
Oh my God, this is the best.
You will be behind on the motorcycle.
But you don't even really get that. I didn't grasp like, oh, the machines have taken over.
Well, I feel like the more realistic end will be WALL-E.
Yes,
that's more where we're heading.
No, that's that.
I don't see Skynet destroying us as necessarily. I see,
like, it'd be easier just to have them lay on these couches, make them super happy.
Or that episode of The Mandalorian where like they're all just sitting there in their fancy little city, not doing anything.
Can't do anything
because they have the droids do everything for them.
Yep.
It never ends well for society when all you do is have leisure.
Mando hates droids.
It does.
Maybe he comes around someday.
I think he will. Hopefully. If you haven't watched The Mandalorian, it's a great TV show.
It is.
If you don't like it, we just don't need to talk about it anymore. That's all I got.
There's so many deep dives on the Darksaber on YouTube right now.
I know.
And just Star Wars life.
Oh yeah, I just watched the finale. There's some intense moments.
Yes, that's good.
Intense moments. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool finale.
It is.
So you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch the final fight just again. Be like, yeah,
I got to go through it.
Bring in the Star Destroyers, baby. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty tight. And yeah, it was good. They wrapped it up nicely. It was good. It had a good little ending there. So sometimes they don't. You're like, what? That's the ending? No. I watched like a Ted Lasso episode the other night, and I thought episode 10 was the end. I was like, that's a weird ending. Crap. Anyway, it wasn't the ending. Thank God I have more.
I've seen no Ted Lasso.
It's a great show.
Is it?
It's something just to cleanse you from like feeling sad about stuff. It's just happy.
Oh.
It's a wonderful, joyous, happy show. 30 minutes to 45 minutes per episode.
I feel like that barely even exists anymore.
I know.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's like watching Friends and Seinfeld, and you're just like, oh, I'm just having fun again.
Just good times
with the great stories and the British humor mixed in. I should watch it with the kids. I forgot how many curse words are in it.
Yeah.
It's like every other word because it's a British show. And that's American hybrid. Thank you seriously for joining us. Help us protect music and art out there. I do love the technology that's around. We always use it. We try to see what's involved.
Sure.
But like, let's keep songs being written by people for now as well. Let's keep production going, keep playing guitars, keep playing drums, and play bass for God's sake.
And just know that if we disappear, it was probably the AI.
Or one day we'll do a completely AI produced show.
We're going to have to be here.
No, I think we'll do it. We'll create a script. We'll see if we can read off the script. An AI generated script, and then like,
So I have to start reading. That's what you're saying.
you'll have to
Practice my reading.
The only problem with that is people will comment, "This is the best show you guys are."
Hello, this is Jonathan.
The AI takeover is happening. Peace be with you all,
We'll all be better.
and to all a good night.